Hi, this is a quick update on my self-published tarot deck, the Spirit Keepers Tarot, and just some ramblings on the process that resulted in selling out all 1,000 copies of the first edition in 7 days. So first, I do get a little bit ranty and negative Nancy in this video, and I think I want to apologize in advance for that. A part of me feels like I don't have any right at all to complain about anything. I've been just so blessed, and the overwhelming majority of the public has gifted me with their support and love. But there's also been a lot of hostility and anger and resentment hurled my way, and I know by changing my mind and changing my plans last minute without warning anybody, at least part of that anger and resentment is warranted. I get it. So that's why I wanted to hop on here and film this quick video and hopefully explain myself. Maybe it won't be so quick. I don't know. Who knows? Back in August, when I committed to self-publishing this deck and I placed my order for the first print run of Spirit Keepers Tarot, I scheduled a winter solstice release date. My deck would officially be on sale to the public on December 21st, and before December 21st, all pre-orders would receive their decks. So the pre-ordered decks would, in theory, help me publicize and promote sales for the actual sales campaign launch. In August, I thought, okay, by Halloween, I would start pre-order sales, maybe, I don't know, ambitiously at my best, sell about, 200, 250 of the decks during the pre-order phase, fulfill all 200, 250 orders before the end of November, and so that by December, I would have garnered some publicity and landed a couple of reviews of the cards in anticipation for actual sales date, winter solstice. Then, ideally, I would take my time selling throughout 2019 or next year. Let's back up just a little bit and give some context. More than a year ago, my travel to London for the UK Tarot Conference in October had already been set in stone. And also for mid-October, I had scheduled a 2-week mini odyssey throughout Europe. And again, that was all set in stone. Plane and train tickets were booked, hotels were booked. I mean, everything was set way before I even consciously knew I would ever create a tarot deck, let alone publish one in 2018. That means now, come October, I had to schedule all things Spirit Keepers Tarot related around my Europe trip before or after. In September 2018, I announced my planned schedule. I wanted to show my gratitude to those who have been patrons of my work. So the pre-order phase would be exclusive to them only. That was the plan. I affectionately refer to them as my VIP list, so that's what I'll use as reference. Then I'd close off pre-orders when I left for Europe, and when I returned, open public pre-orders on October 31st for the slow, steady trickle until finally December 21st, winter solstice, official sales launch date, and all pre-orders would be packed and shipped well before that date, and the ball would get rolling around December. Again, I anticipated at best around 250 decks sold before launch date in December. And yeah, totally, if I work hard fulfilling 250, even 300 orders in 2 months, not a problem. Okay, so then on Friday, October 5th, I sent out the email to my VIP list. Wait, sorry, let me backtrack again and talk about my so-called PR list first. I've personally reaped so much benefit from the tarot community, and mainly tarot bloggers and vloggers, not to mention by offering them first right of purchase and sending out orders to a so-called PR list. I could get some publicity and buzz from my deck through the sales period and also the pre-order sales period. So it made total sense to send out an exclusive specialty type pre-order offer to a PR list first. Again, the plan was they would help with the advertising and promotion of the deck so I could get a healthy number of sales. Inserted post edit here. I even got flack for having a PR list. First of all, there were a ton of tarot YouTubers and bloggers I wanted to reach out to, but you guys didn't have your email addresses clearly posted, so I couldn't. If I didn't reach out to you and you know for a fact I'm an avid subscriber to your channel or blog, maybe it's because I couldn't figure out your email address. So by that fateful Friday, emails to PR list and VIP list were sent out. Now, statistically, email newsletter open rate is between 20 and 25% for the industry category I'm probably put under. Click-through rate, meaning someone actually clicking on links in an email newsletter, is about 5% to 10%. Typical conversion to purchase rate is at best, for the largest and most popular businesses, 10%. I mentioned the statistics so you can understand why it was perfectly reasonable for me to change my plans and why I thought what I had thought. 10%, right? Well, within 5 hours of the timestamp I sent my email, purchase or click-through rate pretty much broke 50%. So before I even got off work on Friday, James, the husband and business partner, said I can count myself as pretty much having maxed out my VIP list pre-orders and should probably move on to general public now, since given the percentage rate, anyone who wants to buy the deck from my VIP list has already pre-ordered. I've maxed out the statistic. Likely, it was reasonable to believe no one else would want to order. Anyone who wanted to order has already done so, so I've maxed out. Again, done. I should probably move on. That was the theoretical belief at the time. So reasonably, I said, okay, that makes perfect sense. I need to change my plans because, the circumstances are not what I expected. And I should also let you know that at this point, everything is a frenzy. So keeping up with emails, direct messages with questions, and just staying on top of the accounting and fulfillment through PayPal even basically required both James and I to focus on that around the clock, pretty much. Every 2 minutes, something was happening. Another post edit, I even got hate for having a so-called VIP list. Total strangers who have never subscribed to anything I've done, didn't even know I'm the author of a book called Holistic Tarot, who randomly heard about Spirit Keepers and wanted to purchase a copy, expressed their resentment at the fact I had what they called a discriminatory VIP email list. While all that frenzy is buzzing around, I'm trying to set business plans. Not that smart. Oh, also prepare for the UK Tarot Conference, since I would be putting on 3 master classes at the conference. 3. So on Saturday, I posted pre-order sales offer on my Instagram account, and basically the general pre-order was advanced earlier than expected. And before Sunday night, even just from an Instagram post, we already sold close to 70% of our inventory. So in 7 days, before the next Friday, that would be October 12th, we had sold out. We were done. The very next day, Saturday morning, I closed down, I think it was Saturday, yeah. The next Saturday, I closed down shop and just left for London. After the complete shock of selling out within a week, you have to understand, there's no way I could have seen that coming. I do not in any way ever consider myself a psychic, and I have never identified with that label. Tarot readings I did for myself, did say good tidings and said things would do well, but what does do well mean? I thought do well meant I would break even and sales would be strong and steady throughout 2019. That's doing well. I didn't know that do well meant sell out 1,000 print run of a self-published esoteric black and white tarot deck that I didn't really think anybody would want anyway in 7 days with zero advertising, and then just posting about it on my blog and Instagram. Like literally the only place I talked about my tarot deck was my own private blog and through Instagram posts. Zero paid advertising. Oh, and like one YouTube video where I wax poetic about God and the devil. Now, over the last 2 weeks, and keep in mind this is while I was also trying to focus on doing well in my 3 talks at the UK Tarot Conference, I started getting peppered with messages. First, lots and lots and lots of love. I want to make that clear. A lot of love, and thank you so much for the love. So the overwhelming majority was supportive and kind and patient and definitely understanding. But you know how it doesn't matter if 99 people are amazing to you? You always let that one rotten troll ruin your day. It's just horrible how we're like that. But it's unfortunate, unspiritual, and it's the reality. So 99 people can be unconditionally, enthusiastically supportive and patient and understanding of plans changing or delays. But I ignore them, of course, and just focus on that one asshole who won't leave me alone and who's just like really pissed off that I've changed my mind about things. So I started getting messages accusing me of being a complete liar and greedy and not honoring my word. Yeah. I mean, fair point, right? I did change my plans last minute, so I can see how that might be spun to portray me as a liar and not honoring my word. I do get it, I do. But I think or hope 100% of self published deck creators are totally sympathizing with me at this moment. Yeah, when you self publish your own deck and the entire enterprise is operated out of your living room, plans do change last minute and there are going to be delays or again just changes. Things change all of the time. The circumstances come up, things aren't what you thought they were, and so you have to change your mind. All deck creators who are self-published, even traditional publishers, know this. The publication schedule never really stays on schedule. There's constantly going to be movement and changes and fluctuations. It's just part of the business. Like when I said I would deliver pre-orders before the close of November, I was thinking, worst case in a sense, scenario having to fulfill about 250, maybe even 300 decks. If that scenario happened, and it was very unlikely that it would, okay, I would just have to work around the clock and find my second wind and third wind sleepless, and I can get 300 decks out within the month of November. I could do that. I don't think it's fair to say I should have expected to sell out 1,000 decks during the pre-order phase of 1 week's time when I promised delivery date in November. Promising November delivery date for 300 decks is something I can and should definitely commit to. I could have done that. Promising November delivery date to fulfill 1,000 tarot decks when James and I both work full time and have tons of other prior obligations. I mean, and again, it's unreasonable from a business standpoint to expect sellout of 1,000 decks. 300 was already being overly arrogant. So all of a sudden, all those people who pre-ordered are now expecting delivery date in November, and they don't give two shits that I have 1,000 decks to package rather than 250 or even 300. I sent out an email as soon as I could to all pre-orders to expect delays in delivery, but we would continue all efforts to send out their decks before December 21st. And a lot of anger and vitriol came in response. Good news, everyone who demanded an immediate refund got one. So we ended up with extra decks to sell to people who would be appreciative of the fact that I'm working my ass off. And so we started going through the list of those who wanted one but missed the pre-order phase and offered the decks to them. So in a weird way, it was actually a great thing. So I'm really glad that there was some anger because the people who were kind of riffraff anyway got eliminated. They got their money back, they got full refunds, and now we had extra decks to sell to people who would be appreciative and people who were loving and kind and patient. So now for the big question everyone keeps asking me over and over and over and over and over again, will there be a second print run of this, the first edition? No, definite no. Of a subsequent redesigned version of this tarot deck, a different edition of this deck? That's... I'm a wishy-washy, flip-floppy Libra who is evidently subject to changing her mind a lot, so who knows, right? So Jay, unequivocally, without hesitation, wants to do a second print run. But to him, this is a business. He's looking at everything from 100% a purely business perspective, and he's making business decisions. I'm not. Real talk, it's just been really hard on me because standing my ground against complete strangers is one thing, but standing my ground against my partner, my love, is new. Jay is amazing, and everyone who has been interacting with him when they order the deck or have questions would probably also agree that, yeah, for sure, he's really, really, really amazing. But we have some fundamental ideological differences for sure. And when it comes to this tarot deck, he sees it as a product. I don't. I don't see it necessarily as a product. It's not a material thing, if that makes any sense. It's totally illogical. I love tarot. Tarot is one of my great passions. I love being a tarot reader, doing tarot readings. I love tarot scholarship. I love reading tarot books, collecting and tinkering with tarot decks. I loved the experience of drawing my own tarot deck and writing a companion book for it. I love writing about the tarot. I just don't know if I like being a deck creator. Actually, I don't like being a deck creator. Kelly from the Truth in Story said something in her walkthrough of this deck that was just so spot on. Asking a tarot deck creator whether she'll do a second print run while she is in the midst of the first print run is kind of like asking a pregnant woman whether she'll have a second child when she's mid-labor with her first. Jay, the father in this metaphor, he's great. I mean, I don't even have to say it. You guys see it. It's being witnessed. He's super supportive and does a lot, like most of the work, living up to his word, for sure. But as any mother knows, maybe, I don't know what it is, the mother still ends up shouldering most of the work, most of the worry and anxiety, and the birthing process takes a much more profound emotional toll on the mother. And I also feel like I'm a working mom. The tarot deck isn't my only responsibility. There's so much going on right now coming at me from so many different directions. What I haven't really talked about, obviously, because I can't, is I'm in the middle of three big cases at work, all in the throes of litigation. Taking time off work actually turned out to be a really bad idea because now I just have a mountain of catch-up work to do. And as probably many of you watching this know, I still have a ton of tarot and astrology client readings to catch up on. I can barely stay balanced on top of what's currently on my plate and forget all of that. Let's just talk about the first edition. Even though we're sold out, the work for us is just beginning. In so many ways, it would actually be irresponsible of me to work on a second edition in any way before fully completing everything I need to do for the first, right? But I am being pressured from all sides, including from Jay, to at least address the issue. We will do a second edition, but I won't even start work on it in any way whatsoever until after I have completely completed everything that needs to be done on the first edition, including, and this is very important to me, including time to reflect and introspect on that first edition. I also need time to mentally process the experience and take the time to learn the lessons I need to learn from the experience before starting a second edition. For me, a second edition can't just be a business decision. I need to have a cogent and defensible reason for doing a second edition. It needs to be rooted in something far deeper than business and sales. The second edition would have to have its own unique, nuanced point of view from the first edition, and it would need to have its own unique, nuanced mission statement, harmonious and complementary, yet distinctly different from the first. And all of that requires time for me to process. And when that time comes, when I'm done processing, I'll do kind of the same announcement as I did with the first edition, so you'll hear about it on my blog, Twitter, or Instagram. So stay tuned, and thank you for tuning in.